Live NFL trivia every Tuesday night on Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come show off your football knowledge and have a chance to win cash prizes. Check the link in the description to find out more. And now, on with our feature presentation. When you think of some of the most iconic plays in the history of the Super Bowl, what comes to mind? You might think of the David Tyree catch, John Elway's helicopter run, the Titans coming up 1 yard short, or a bunch of other things. All of these plays, even though they were not scoring plays, played a huge role in their respective teams winning the game. Even though none of these plays resulted in points or a change in possession, these plays changed everything. And yet there's one of these plays that I didn't mention that completely flies under the radar. It's a play that gained no yards. It's a play that no one talks about. It's a play that no one seems to remember, but it might just be the most underrated play in the history of the Super Bowl. This is the story of the most underrated play in Super Bowl history. To start our story off, we have to go all the way back to January 30th, 1983, in Super Bowl XVII between Washington and Miami. The 1982 season was a black eye on the league, and I think that goes without saying. The league only played 9 games that season due to a strike that lasted 2 months. The league had 8 teams in each conference make the postseason, meaning that multiple teams with a losing record that had no business being in there were there. And there were regionally televised playoff games. Nothing about the 1982 season was particularly good. However, at the end of the day, it seemed that despite the chaos, the 2 best teams in the league made it to the big game. On one hand, you had Washington. They were a cut above the rest of the NFC, sitting at 8-1. Washington not only breezed through the regular season to easily earn the conference's top seed, but they also had a pretty easy time in the postseason as well, winning all 3 of their games by double digits. And on the other hand, you had Miami, who finished at 7-2, and much like Washington, won all of their games in the postseason by double digits. This rematch of Super Bowl VII 10 years prior seemed like it should be a good game. At the end of the first half, it was Miami that was on top. David Woodley, a quarterback who had never thrown a touchdown pass of longer than 70 yards in his career, threw a 76-yard touchdown to Jimmy Cephalo, a man who had never caught a pass longer than 70 yards in his career. After the teams went back and forth in points, Miami broke the deadlock with less than 2 minutes to go in the half when Fulton Walker returned the kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown. The Dolphins were leading 17-10 and had positioned themselves to win their 3rd title in franchise history. Washington's defense was playing well against the pass, as late in the 3rd quarter, Woodley had misfired on 7 straight passes. This game made it very clear why the Dolphins would eventually spend their 1st-round pick in the following draft on Dan Marino. Washington was now down 17-13, and the good news was that they had the ball following a bad interception by Woodley. The bad news was that they were starting on their own 5-yard line. Eventually, they're able to get out of their own end zone and wind up at the 18-yard line. It's 1st down. What happens next might be the most underrated play in Super Bowl history.
Redskins send Walker, the tight end, way out to the right. Now the other tight end, Warren, moves to anchor the line, and they bring Brown in motion. Theismann batted in the air. Almost a touchdown for Kim Bokamper. Oh, my.
Joe Theismann playing defensive back on his own pass as it was batted into the air. Bokamper, a former linebacker, now playing in the defensive line at defensive end, has had a tough day today. But watch him here as he almost comes with a big play. Theismann cannot get the pass off. Rolls back against the grain. The batted ball there. Now watch Theismann go up and knock it out of the hands of Kim Bokamper. And Bokamper said, "It was my touchdown."
Great play by Theismann. As it appeared, Bokamper indeed had 6.
I want to emphasize just how important that deflection was. Let's say that Kim Bokamper makes that play, catches the ball, and runs into the end zone. The Dolphins are now leading the game 24-13. In the history of the Super Bowl up until that point, no team had ever come back from down 11 or more. Even today, with the exception of the Patriots against the Falcons in Super Bowl 51, no team has erased a deficit larger than 10 points. And if that wasn't crazy enough, in franchise history, the Dolphins had blown just 1 lead larger than 10 points in the 4th quarter. Back then, Miami did not blow leads late, especially under Don Shula. Basically, this touchdown by Bokamper would have been a death sentence. Instead, it results in a harmless, incomplete pass. While Washington doesn't score any points on the drive, they are able to flip the field, as Miami starts the ensuing drive on their own 1-yard line. And on Washington's next drive, you know what happens next. On 4th down, Washington goes for it, and Theismann hands it off to John Riggins. He takes it 43 yards to the house for the touchdown, and gives Washington the lead, which they would never surrender after that. Washington won the game 27-17, and Joe Gibbs and Washington won their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Most people remember this game for Riggins' big run. Heck, he was named the MVP of the game for a reason. But the play by Theismann to deny Bokamper a touchdown was just as important, if not more so. But don't just take my word for it, take Joe Theismann's. He called it the biggest play of the game, and said afterwards, "I'll be honest, I had visions of A.J. Dewey last week, and I didn't want to be in Richard Todd's shoes. It's a horrible feeling." If you're wondering what he's talking about there, Dewey had 3 interceptions against the Jets the week before in the AFC Championship, including a touchdown on a play that was awfully similar to what happened to Theismann, where the ball got batted. The difference here was that unlike Dewey, Bokamper was denied the pick and the touchdown, and Bokamper was shocked about that. He said, "I figured I had it. I thought it was mine. As quick as I thought I had it, it was gone. I had no idea Theismann was around. I thought I was in clean. I was shocked he was anywhere near." As a side note, this is not the first time I made a video about Joe Theismann. If you want to see a video on an infamous play he ran at the following Super Bowl, then click the card in the upper right corner. Or if you want to see the time that he was used as Washington's punt returner, then click the card in the upper right corner. It's crazy to think about how different NFL history is if Theismann doesn't make this play, and Bokamper comes down with the pick. Aside from the fact that the Dolphins likely have one more ring, what's its a third title due to Don Shula's legacy? With Miami probably being able to use the running game up by 11 and not having to rely on David Woodley's arm, do they realize that they have a problem at quarterback? And do they pass on drafting Dan Marino the following year? There's a lot to think about. But of all the great and iconic defensive plays in Super Bowl history, from Larry Brown's pick to seal the deal at Super Bowl 30, to Malcolm Butler's interception to end the game at Super Bowl 49, and everything in between, it's crazy how one of the best defensive plays in the history of the title game was made by, of all people, a quarterback. Be sure to like this video, ring the notification bell, and subscribe down below if you haven't already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out Twitch every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for your chance to play NFL trivia and win cash prizes. Link in the description below. If you want to see videos like this condensed down to 60 seconds, then follow me on TikTok at JaredGator9 and subscribe to 60-Second NFL History on YouTube. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. So you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.